Gray dust covered everything. Dr. Hannah Park pulled her mask tighter over her face as the wind blew more ash into the air. 6 days ago, a ship carrying hurt soldiers and regular people had crashed somewhere in these empty lands. Hannah and her small team were looking for any people who might still be alive. The air was bad to breathe. Little bits of ash floated everywhere, leftovers from the terrible burning weapons used in the ash war. Once, green plants and clean rivers had filled this valley on Colony Solol. Now there was only gray dust and broken land. "How much farther, doctor?" asked Do-hyun, his voice tired after walking for many hours. Hannah checked the small tracking device on her wrist. The light blinked faster now. "We're getting closer," she said. "Maybe 2 more kilometers." Behind Hannah walked 4 soldiers from the 103rd Rescue Division. Corporal Do-hyun carried the heavy weapons. Private Jin-ho was in charge of the medical supplies. Medic Soo-min had extra medical tools and bandages. Communications specialist Yoon-ji kept in touch with their base far away. These 4 were the only ones who had said yes to this mission. The leaders at the base had told them it was likely no one had lived through the crash. Still, Hannah had to try. She was a doctor. Saving lives was her job. "Why are we even out here?" Jin-ho whispered to Soo-min, but Hannah heard him. "Command said this mission is a waste of time." "Because Dr. Park believes there might be survivors," Soo-min answered. "And I trust her." Hannah felt grateful for those words. Not many people on the base liked her. They thought she was too soft, too caring about the enemy. They didn't understand that being a doctor meant helping everyone, even those you were fighting against. The tracking device made a loud sound. Hannah raised her hand, and everyone stopped walking. They had reached the edge of a hill. Carefully, trying not to make noise, Hannah crawled to the top and looked down. What she saw made her freeze with fear and surprise. Below them was a small canyon. In the middle lay the crashed ship, broken into several big pieces. Metal parts were scattered across the ground. But that wasn't what made Hannah's heart beat faster. Around the crashed ship were 7 huge creatures. They were the most feared weapons of the Nexus Empire, Vanguard tigers. The tigers were not fully animals and not fully machines. They were both. Their bodies looked like very large tigers from Earth, but metal parts showed through their skin. Their claws were long and sharp, made of a special metal that could cut through almost anything. Their eyes glowed with an orange light that looked like fire. "Tigers," whispered Yoon-ji, who had crawled up beside Hannah. "7 of them. We need to leave now." Hannah was about to agree when she noticed something strange. One of the tigers was not acting like the others. It was larger, with gray marks on its body. While the other 6 tigers were tearing at the ship's hull, trying to get inside, this gray tiger stood guard over one section of the crashed ship. When another tiger came too, close, the gray one growled and showed its teeth. "That's not normal," said Do-hyun, who was now looking through special field glasses. "Tigers always hunt together. They don't fight each other." Hannah took out her medical scanner, a small device that could find signs of life from far away. She pointed it at the ship section the gray tiger was protecting. The screen showed 5 small dots, 5 heartbeats. "There are survivors in there," Hannah said, her voice full of surprise. 5 of them, and that tiger, it's protecting them from the others." "Impossible," said Jin-ho. "Tigers are killing machines, they don't protect humans." But Hannah kept watching the gray tiger. It paced back and forth in front of the broken ship section, always keeping itself between the survivors inside and the other tigers. "I've seen that tiger before," Hannah said slowly, as a memory came back to her. 3 months ago at Forward Base Cheonsa." "What do you mean?" asked Soo-min. Hannah's mind went back to that day. The soldiers had brought in a captured tiger, badly hurt from battle. There was a huge hole in its chest. Everyone wanted to cut it open, to study how it worked. But Hannah had done something else instead. "I fixed its heart," she said quietly. "You did what?" Do-hyun looked at her like she was crazy. "It was dying," Hannah explained. "I used the new nanite therapy I was working on. The tiger had a biomechanical heart. Part machine, part living tissue. I repaired it. That has to be a different tiger, Yunji said. This can't be the same one. Look at the gray markings, Hana pointed. And see that scar on its chest? That's where I operated on it. It's the same tiger. It escaped the day after I fixed it. As they watched, one of the smaller tigers tried to move toward the protected ship section. The gray tiger roared and slashed with its metal claws, driving the smaller one away. But why would it protect humans? Jinho asked. That makes no sense. Hana remembered something else from that day 3 months ago. While working on the tiger's heart, she had worn her neural interface visor. The device helped her do very small, careful work. But during the operation, something strange had happened. For a brief moment, her mind had connected with the tiger's mind. When I fixed its heart, I think something happened, Hana said. My neural interface connected with its brain systems. For a second, it felt what I felt. You mean, it felt human emotions? Sumin asked. Maybe, Hana nodded. Maybe it learned what compassion feels like. They watched as the gray tiger continued to guard the survivors. It was an amazing sight. A creature made to kill humans was now risking its life to save them. What do we do now? Asked Do-hyun. We can't fight 7 tigers. Hana made a quick decision. She took off her backpack and started searching through it. We need to get down there, she said. Those survivors won't last much longer without water and medical help. That's suicide, Jinho protested. Even if that one tiger is somehow friendly, the others will kill us the moment they see us. Hana pulled out her neural interface circlet, a thin band of metal that went around her head. Tiny lights blinked on it as she turned it on. Not if I can talk to our gray friend, she said. I connected with it once before. Maybe I can do it again. And if you can't? Asked Yunji. Hana looked at the crashed ship, thinking about the 5 people trapped inside waiting for help that might never come. Then we die trying to save them, she said simply. That's our job. The team looked at each other. They all knew the dangers, but they had all volunteered for this mission knowing it would be hard. What's your plan, Doctor? Do-hyun finally asked. Hana smiled behind her mask as she placed the neural interface on her head. First, she said, I need to have a talk with an old patient of mine. 3 months earlier, Dr. Hana Park had been working late in her medical lab at Forward Operating Base Cheonsa. The base was the main human stronghold on Colony Seolal, a place where soldiers rested between battles and where the wounded came to heal. That night, alarms had sounded throughout the base. Hana rushed outside to see what was happening. Soldiers were running toward the main gate, guns ready. A military transport was coming in fast, its engines smoking. Medical team to the landing pad, someone shouted over the speakers. When Hana reached the landing pad, she saw what had caused all the excitement. Inside a strong metal cage on the back of the transport was a vanguard tiger. It was not moving much. Dark blood dripped through the cage onto the ground. Captain Sung, the base commander, stood nearby with a proud smile on his face. First one we've captured alive, he said when he saw Hana. Shot it down during the battle at Ridge 17. Took out half my squad before we managed to trap it. Hana moved closer to the cage. The tiger was huge, bigger than the others she had seen in videos. Its fur was a special gray color, like ash. But what caught her attention was the terrible wound in its chest. A large hole had been blown right through its body, exposing the heart inside. The heart was not what Hana expected. It was part organic tissue, like a real animal heart, but also part machine. Tiny lights blinked on its surface. Small metal parts moved with each beat. Amazing, isn't it? Said Dr. Min, the chief science officer who had joined them. A perfect mix of biology and technology. We need to take it to the research lab right away. I want to study how it works before it dies. But it's suffering, Hana said, watching the tiger's chest rise and fall with painful breaths. It's a weapon, Captain Sung reminded her. It was made to kill us. It's not a real animal. But Hana could not look away from the tiger's eyes. They were still open, glowing a dull orange. And in those eyes, she saw something that surprised Her awareness, pain, fear. I want to treat it first, Hana said. If it dies, you won't learn much from studying it. Dr. Min frowned. Treat it? With what? We don't have medicines for alien war machines. I have something that might work, Hana replied, thinking of her new nanite therapy. She had been developing tiny robots that could repair human tissue. Maybe they would work on the tiger too. Captain Sung looked unhappy, but after some thought he nodded. Fine. Repair it enough to keep it alive for study. But be careful. Those things are dangerous even when they're hurt. That night, Hana worked alone in a special high-security medical room. The tiger had been moved there and locked down to a strong metal table. It could barely move, but its eyes followed Hana as she prepared her equipment. I'm going to try to help you, she said, not sure if the tiger could understand human speech. I don't know if this will work, but I have to try. The nanite therapy was still new. Hana had used it on human patients with good results, but never on something like this tiger. She carefully programmed the tiny robots to repair both organic, tissue, and simple mechanical systems. For the procedure, Hana wore her neural interface visor. It was a special device that connected to her brain, allowing her to control medical tools with great precision. With it, she could guide the nanites to exactly where they needed to go. As she worked on the tiger's heart, something strange happened. The neural interface created an unexpected connection. Suddenly, Hana could feel what the tiger was feeling. Pain flooded her mind. Confusion. Anger. Fear. But deeper than those feelings was something else. Rigid programming, strict orders embedded in the tiger's brain to hunt and kill humans. For one brief moment, their minds touched directly. Hana felt herself sending something through that connection. Not thoughts or words, but pure feeling. Compassion. Care. The desire to heal, not hurt. The tiger's eyes widened, its body tensed. Then the connection broke as the neural interface reset itself. Hana stepped back, dizzy from the experience. Had she imagined it? But looking at the tiger, she saw something different in its eyes now. The orange glow seemed softer. Its breathing had steadied. The nanites were working, rebuilding the damaged heart. The hole in the tiger's chest was slowly closing as new tissue grew. By morning, the tiger was stable. Remarkable, Dr. Min said, examining the healing wound. How did you do this? The nanites adapted to its biology, Hana explained, not mentioning the strange mental connection. No one would believe her anyway. Captain Sung was less impressed. Now that it's stable, we can begin the real work. I want to know how these things think, what makes them tick. We should give it time to recover fully, Hana suggested. We don't have time, the captain replied. The next attack could come any day. Dr. Min will begin tests tomorrow. That night, Hana checked on the tiger one last time before going to sleep. It watched her enter the room, its eyes tracking her movements. There was no aggression in its posture now, just curiosity. I don't know if you can understand me, Hana said quietly, standing at a safe distance. But I felt something when our minds connected. I felt your programming, the orders they gave you to kill. But I also felt something else, the beginning of choice. The tiger made a soft rumbling sound, not quite a growl. Everyone here sees you as just a weapon, Hana continued. Maybe that's all you were made to be. But I think you could be more. As she turned to leave, the tiger made another sound, almost like a question. Hana looked back and saw it staring at her with those strange, glowing eyes. For a moment, she had the crazy thought that it was trying to communicate. The next morning, chaos filled the base. Alarms blared as soldiers ran in all directions. Hana rushed to the medical wing to find Captain Sung shouting orders and Dr. Min looking frightened. The tiger is gone, Dr. Min told her. It broke out during the night, killed 2 guards. How? Is that possible? Hana asked. Its wounds were still healing. Captain Sung pointed to the broken restraints. Looks like we underestimated its strength. Security cameras show it heading east into the ash wastes. While others searched the base, Hana examined the medical room. The tiger had broken free, yes, but something didn't make sense. The door had been opened from the inside, not broken. Down. And the two dead guards had been killed quickly. Efficiently. Not torn apart as tigers usually did with their victims. It was almost as if the tiger had been trying to escape with minimal violence. Over the next few days, search teams tried to find the escaped tiger. They never did. Captain Sung was angry about losing such a valuable research subject. Dr. Min was disappointed about missing the chance to study it. Only Hana kept thinking about that strange moment when their minds had touched. Had she somehow changed the tiger? Had she given it something it wasn't supposed to have? A sense of empathy? Now 3 months later, as she looked down at the crashed ship and the gray tiger protecting survivors, Hana finally had her answer. "I'm going down there," she told her team, adjusting the neural interface on her head. "Alone?" asked Yunji, looking worried. "Yes," said Hana. "I think it will remember me." "And what if it doesn't?" Jinho asked. Hana checked her medical kit last time. "Then I die trying to save those people, but I don't think that will happen. That tiger and I share a connection now. When I fixed its heart, I think I gave it something no one expected." "What's that?" Sumin asked. Hana smiled slightly. "A piece of humanity." Hana's heart beat fast as she began walking down into the canyon. Each step took her closer to the crashed ship. Closer to the 7 deadly tigers. Closer to the survivors who needed her help. "Stay in position," she said quietly into her comm device. "Be ready to cover me if things go wrong." "Understood," Do-hyun replied from his hiding spot on the ridge. "We have eyes on you." The other tigers noticed her first. 6 pairs of glowing orange eyes turned toward Hana. Low growls filled the air. The closest tiger, a large one with black stripes, began moving toward her with slow, careful steps. Hana forced herself to keep walking. Her legs wanted to run away. Her brain was screaming that this was dangerous. But she kept going, her eyes fixed on the gray tiger that was still guarding the broken ship section. The black-striped tiger was getting closer. It lowered its body, ready to jump at her. Hana could see its metal claws extending from its paws, sharp enough to cut through armor. Just as the tiger was about to leap, a loud roar shook the canyon. The gray tiger had seen her. It left its position by the ship and moved between Hana and the other tiger. It was even bigger up close, its shoulders as high as Hana's head. The metal plates along its spine gleamed in the dim light. The 2 tigers faced each other, growling. The black-striped one backed away slowly, confused by the gray tiger's behavior. The other tigers watched, unsure what to do. Hana started to breathe again. She carefully moved closer to the gray tiger. "You remember me?" she said softly. "Don't you?" The tiger turned its massive head toward her. Its orange eyes studied her face. Then it made a sound unlike any tiger sound Hana had ever heard. A low rumble that was almost gentle. Hana touched the neural interface on her head, activating it. The small lights on the thin metal band began to glow. It wasn't as powerful as the full visor she had used during the operation 3 months ago, but it might be enough to create a connection. "I need to check on the people you're protecting," Hana said, pointing to the ship section. "Will you let me?" The tiger watched her for a long moment. Then it turned and walked back to the ship. Hana followed, aware that the other tigers were still watching. They seemed confused by what was happening but were keeping their distance. The ship section was badly damaged. It had once been a passenger compartment, but the crash had torn off one side. The gray tiger had positioned itself to block that opening, keeping the other tigers out. When Hana looked inside, she was surprised. She had expected to find adult survivors, soldiers, or maybe the ship's crew. Instead, she saw 5 children huddled together at the back of the compartment. The oldest was a girl about 12 years old. The youngest looked no more than 4. They watched Hana with wide, frightened eyes. "It's okay," Hana said gently. "I'm a doctor. I'm here to help you." The oldest girl stood up slowly. "Are you real?" she asked in a small voice. "Or are we dreaming?" "I'm real," Hana assured her. "My name is Dr. Park. What's your name?" "Mireille," the girl answered. These are Jun, Heejin, Kyung, and Little Tai. She pointed to each child as she named them. Hana climbed carefully into the compartment. She took off her backpack and began checking each child for injuries. "What happened?" she asked as she worked. "Why were you on this ship?" Mireille looked down at her hands. "We were being taken to safety. Our village was attacked 3 days ago. The soldiers put us on this ship with other people. But then there was an explosion. The ship started falling." "Where are the others?" Hana asked, looking around the empty compartment. "They're gone," Mireille said quietly. "When we crashed, our section broke off from the main ship. We could hear the others screaming for a while. Then the tigers came." Hana finished checking the children. They had cuts and bruises, and they were hungry and thirsty, but none had serious injuries. "How did you survive out here for 6 days?" she asked, giving them water from her supply. Mireille pointed at the gray tiger which was still standing guard outside. "That one protected us. It killed any tiger that tried to get to us." Her voice filled with wonder. "It brought us water too. It found containers from the ship and pushed them to us with its nose." Hana was amazed. The connection she had made with the tiger had changed it more than she could have imagined. "I fixed its heart once," she told Mireille. "I think it remembers." "It likes you," the small boy named Jun said. "It makes a special sound when it sees you." Hana turned back to the entrance where the gray tiger was watching them. She activated her neural interface again, focusing on the tiger. This time, the connection formed more easily. Images and feelings flowed into Hana's mind. She saw the tiger's memories of waking after the operation, confused by new feelings. She felt its struggle as it escaped the base, trying not to kill the guards but not knowing how to be gentle with such a powerful body. Most clearly, she saw its memory of finding the crashed ship. It had been hunting with its pack, following their programming to attack any human target. But when it found the children in the broken compartment, something had changed. The sight of the small, frightened humans had triggered something new. In its mind, a need to protect instead of kill. Hana gasped as the connection became stronger. The tiger was trying to communicate, sending her urgent images. Danger. The other tigers were growing restless. Their programming was fighting against the gray tiger's strange commands. They wouldn't stay away much longer. "We need to leave now," Hana said to the children, breaking the mental connection. "My team is waiting up on the ridge. We have a transport that can take you to safety." "What about the tiger?" asked Mireille. "The others will kill it for helping us." Hana looked at the gray tiger, thinking quickly. "It's coming with us," she decided. "But first we need to get you children to safety." She called her team on the comm device. "I've found 5 children, all alive. I need extraction now." 5 children? Yoonji's voice sounded surprised. "How did they survive?" "The tiger protected them," Hana explained. "And it's still protecting them. But we need to move fast. The other tigers are getting anxious." Do-hyun's voice came through next. "We'll come down the east side of the canyon. There's a path we can use. Be ready to move in 3 minutes." Hana turned to the children. "Get ready. We're leaving soon." Little Tae, the youngest child, looked frightened. "I can't run fast," he said, his lower lip trembling. Hana smiled at him. "Don't worry. I'll carry you." Outside, a growl caught her attention. One of the other tigers had moved closer, testing the gray tiger's resolve. The gray tiger responded with a warning roar, but Hana could see it was tired. The wound in its chest, though healed, had left it weaker than the others. Through the neural connection, Hana felt its determination. It would fight to the death to protect the children. These small humans it had no reason to care about except for the spark of empathy she had given it. "Your heart remembers," Hana whispered. "Even when your programming tells you to kill, your heart remembers what it felt when we connected." The tiger turned its glowing eyes toward her. Through the mental link, Hana felt something like agreement. Then the tiger tensed as another tiger moved closer. The time for talk was over. The final battle for the children's lives was about to begin. "Get ready," Hana told the children. "When I say run, you follow me, and don't look back." Mireille nodded. Gathering the younger children close, "What about our protector?" she asked, looking at the gray tiger. Hana touched the neural interface one last time, sending a clear image to the tiger. The children reaching safety, the tiger joining them, all of them escaping together. "We're not leaving it behind," Hana promised. "Not after what it's done for you." The first sounds of her team approaching came from the east side of the canyon. The rescue was about to begin. "Now!" Hana shouted as she saw her team appear on the east side of the canyon. Do-hyun, Jin-ho, Soo-min, and Yoon-ji rushed down the path, weapons ready. The moment the other tigers spotted them, chaos broke out. The 6 tigers turned to face the new threat, their metal claws extending. "Get the children to the transport," Do-hyun called as he fired his weapon at the nearest tiger. The shot hit the creature in the shoulder, making it stumble back. Hana turned to the children. "Stay close to me. Run toward my friends." She picked up little Tai, the youngest child, and held him tight against her chest. Mireille took Heejin's hand while June helped Kyung. "Ready?" Hana asked. Mireille nodded, her face brave despite her fear. "Go," Hana ordered, and they all began running toward the rescue team. The gray tiger moved with them, positioning itself between the children and the other tigers. When a large tiger with red markings tried to leap at them, the gray tiger slammed into it midair. The 2 massive creatures crashed to the ground, rolling in the ash as they fought. "Dr. Park, this way," Soo-min called, waving them toward the path. Hana and the children ran as fast as they could. Behind them, the sounds of fighting filled the air. Metal claws scraped against metal plates. Angry roars echoed off the canyon walls. They reached the team, and Jin-ho immediately took little Tai from Hana's arms. "We need to hurry," Yoon-ji said, looking back at the fighting tigers. "The transport is just up this path." As they started climbing, Hana turned to look back. The gray tiger was now fighting 3 others at once. It was holding its own, but Hana could see it was getting tired. Fresh wounds opened across its body as the other tigers attacked again and again. "Wait," she said. "We can't leave it." Do-hyun looked at her like she was crazy. "That's a vanguard tiger, Doctor. It belongs to the enemy." "It saved these children," Hana argued. "It's different now." Mireille pulled on Hana's sleeve. "Dr. Park is right. It protected us for 6 days. It gave us water. It kept us safe." Do-hyun looked uncertain. "Even if you're right, how do we help it? We can't fight 6 tigers," Hana thought quickly. Her eyes fell on the broken ship below. An idea formed in her mind. "The ship's emergency flares," she said. "They should still be in the control panel. Tigers hate bright light. It hurts their eyes." "I'll go," Jin-ho offered, surprising everyone. "No," Hana shook her head. "You get the children to safety." "I'll go." "Dr. Park, that's too dangerous," Soo-min protested. Hana was already taking off her backpack. "Get the children to the transport. I'll meet you there." Before anyone could stop her, Hana handed her neural interface circlet to Mireille. "Keep this safe for me," she said. Then she started running back down into the canyon. "Dr. Park!" Yoon-ji called after her. "Go!" Hana shouted over her shoulder. "That's an order." The team hesitated, then began leading the children up the path. Mireille looked back once, clutching the neural interface tightly in her small hand. Hana ran toward the main part of the crashed ship, staying low and moving carefully to avoid being seen by the fighting tigers. She reached the broken front section and climbed inside. The control panel was damaged but still had power. Small lights blinked across its surface. Hana searched quickly, looking for the emergency systems. "There," she whispered when she found the flare controls. 6 flares remained in the launcher. Hana programmed them to fire in a wide pattern, then took cover behind a broken wall. The flares shot into the air with a loud hissing sound. They burst high above the canyon, flooding it with blindingly bright red light. The effect on the tigers was immediate. They all stopped fighting and cried out in pain. Their eyes, made to see in darkness, could not handle the intense light. They backed away, trying to shield their faces with their paws. The gray tiger was also affected, but less severely. Hana realized it must have adapted during its time with her at the base, where bright lights were common in the medical lab. Over. Here! Hana called to it. Come with me. The tiger turned toward her voice. It was badly wounded now. Fresh cuts covered its body. One of its metal leg plates was hanging loose, but it was still standing. It limped toward her as the other tigers retreated into the shadows away from the bright flares. Hana led the way toward the path where her team had gone, moving as fast as the injured tiger could manage. They were halfway, to the path when the flares began to fade. The light grew dimmer with each passing second. Soon it would be gone and the other tigers would recover. We need to hurry, Hana told the tiger, not sure if it could understand her without the neural interface. The tiger seemed to sense the urgency. It forced itself to move faster despite its wounds. They reached the bottom of the path just as the last flare died out. Behind them, angry roars filled the canyon as the other tigers regained their sight and realized their prey was escaping. There, coming, Hana said, looking up the steep path. Can you climb this? The tiger looked at the path, then at Hana. Through its pain, she saw determination in its glowing eyes. It started up the path using its claws to grip the rocky ground. Hana followed, glancing back nervously. The other tigers were now running toward them, moving much faster than the injured gray tiger could. Keep going, Hana encouraged the tiger. We're almost there. The gray tiger climbed steadily, but the others were gaining. The nearest one was now only 20 meters behind them, with the others close behind. Suddenly, weapon fire rang out from above. Do-hyun stood at the top of the gyo path, firing carefully aimed shots to keep the pursuing tigers back. Hurry, Dr. Park, he shouted. Hana and the tiger reached the last stretch of the path. The transport was visible now, a large vehicle with its engines running. The children and the rest of the team were already inside. The gray tiger was moving. Slower now, losing strength with each step. Hana stayed by its side, urging it on. Just a little further, she said. You can make it. Do-hyun fired his last shots, then ran to the transport. We need to leave now, he called. The closest tiger was almost upon them. Hana could hear its heavy breathing, the scrape of its claws on the rocks. With a final effort, the gray tiger reached the top of the path. It turned to face the oncoming threat, placing itself between Hana and danger one last time. No, Hana cried. There's no time to fight. We need to go. But the tiger stood its ground, facing the approaching enemy. It was going to sacrifice itself, so Hana could escape. In that moment, Hana made a decision that went against all logic, against all her training. She wouldn't abandon the tiger that had saved the children, that had changed because of the connection they shared. If you stay, I stay, she told it firmly. The tiger looked at her, its orange eyes seeming to understand. The first enemy tiger reached the top of the path, ready to attack. The gray tiger prepared for its final battle. From the transport, a small voice called out. Dr. Park. Mireille stood in the doorway holding up the neural interface. Hana suddenly understood what the girl was trying to tell her. The interface, she said, turning back to the gray tiger. It's our only chance. As the enemy tiger leaped toward them, Hana made her move. Just as the enemy tiger leaped toward them, Hana dove to the side. She rolled across the ground and jumped to her feet, running toward Mireille and the neural interface. The gray tiger crashed into the attacking tiger, buying Hana precious seconds. Metal claws scraped against metal plates as the two creatures fought. Hana reached Mireille and grabbed the neural interface. Get back inside, she told the girl. Mireille nodded and ran back into the transport. What are you doing? Do-hyun shouted from the doorway. We need to leave now. Just give me 1 minute, Hana called back. She placed the neural interface on her head and activated it. The small lights began to glow brightly. The two tigers were still fighting, but the gray one was losing. It was too weak from its earlier battles and wounds. The enemy tiger slashed at its side, opening a new gash that leaked a mixture of blood and blue fluid. Hana focused all her thoughts through the neural interface. She pushed aside her fear and sent one clear message. Come to me. The gray tiger's head turned toward her, its orange eyes locked with hers. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a sudden burst of strength, the gray tiger broke away from the fight. It leaped toward Hana, moving faster than she had ever seen it move before. Behind it, the enemy tiger gave chase. "Dr. Park!" Jinho shouted in alarm, but Hana stood her ground. She kept the connection strong, sending images of safety, of escape, of healing. "Come to me," her mind repeated. "Trust me." The gray tiger reached her just seconds before the enemy. Without hesitation, Hana jumped aside and pointed to the open door of the transport. "In there!" she shouted. To everyone's amazement, the gray tiger understood. It leaped through the open doorway into the transport, its massive body barely fitting through the entrance. The children inside screamed in surprise. Hana ran in after it, shouting, "Close the door! Go!" Yunji slammed her hand on the control panel. The door began to close just as the enemy tiger reached it. The creature's claws scraped against the closing metal door, but it was too late. The door sealed shut with a hiss of air. "Drive!" Hana yelled. Sumin was already at the controls. The transport's engines roared to life and the vehicle lurched forward. The enemy tiger and the others that had now reached the top of the path fell behind as the transport picked up speed. Inside, everyone stared at the gray tiger. It was crouched in the middle of the transport, breathing heavily. Blue fluid dripped from its many wounds onto the floor. The children surprisingly did not seem afraid. Mireille even moved closer to it, reaching out one small hand. "Will it be okay?" she asked Hana. Hana knelt beside the tiger, examining its wounds. "I think so," she said, "but it needs medical care soon." "You can't be serious," Do-hyun said, keeping his weapon ready. "That thing is still an enemy weapon. We can't bring it back to base." Hana looked up at him. "It's not an enemy anymore, look at it." The tiger was now lying on its side. Its eyes were half closed with pain and exhaustion. But when little Tae approached it, the tiger made a soft, rumbling sound that was almost gentle. The boy patted its head without fear. "It protected these children for 6 days," Hana reminded everyone. "It fought its own kind to save them. And me. It deserves our help." Jinho shook his head in disbelief. "How will we explain this to command? They'll order us to kill it or lock it up for study. Then we won't tell them right away," Hana decided. "We'll say we found the children and got away. We'll bring the tiger to my medical lab first. I can prove it's different now." The rest of the team looked uncertain, but no one argued. They had all seen what the tiger had done. For the next 3 hours, they drove across the ash wasteland toward forward operating base Cheonsa. Hana treated the tiger's wounds as best she could with her limited supplies. Through the neural interface, she could feel its pain, but also its trust in her. The children stayed close to the tiger the whole time. Mireille told Hana how it had brought them water from other parts of the ship, how it had pushed food containers to them with its nose, how it had stood guard while they slept, never leaving them alone. "It made us feel safe," she said simply. When they finally reached the base, night had fallen. Hana had made her plan. They would smuggle the tiger into her private lab through the emergency medical entrance. But first, they had to get the children to safety. As the transport approached the main gate, Yunji called the base. "Rescue Team Alpha returning with survivors," she reported. 5 children recovered from the crash site, requesting medical. "Team." Lights flashed across the base as people rushed to meet them. The main gate opened and the transport drove in. Captain Sung was waiting when they stopped. "5 survivors?" he asked in surprise as the team helped the children out. "How is that possible? It's been 6 days." "It's a long story, sir," Hana said. The medical team took the children away to check them. Mireille looked back at Hana with worried eyes, silently asking about the tiger still hidden in the transport. "I'll explain everything later," Hana promised her. "First, I need to finish treating an important patient." Captain Sung frowned. "What patient?" "All the children look stable." "Not the children, sir," Hana said carefully. "Someone else who helped save them." Before the captain could ask more questions, Alarms began to sound at the north side of the base. "Perimeter breach," someone shouted over the speakers. "Section 7. "What now?" Captain Sung muttered, turning away. "Secure the transport and report to me in 1 hour, Doctor," he ordered before running toward the disturbance. It was the chance Hana needed. She quickly drove the transport to her private lab at the back of the medical wing. Do-hyun, Jin-ho, Sumin, and Yoonji helped her unload the Tiger and get it inside without being seen. The lab was small but had all the equipment Hana needed. As the team sealed the doors, she prepared her nanite therapy machine. "Will it work?" Sumin asked, watching the Tiger lying on the reinforced medical table. "It worked before," Hana said. "It will work again." For the next 3 hours, Hana worked without rest. The nanites repaired the Tiger's wounds one by one. The team took turns, standing guard outside, making sure no one discovered what they were doing. As morning approached, the Tiger was finally stable. Its breathing had evened out, and the blue fluid had stopped leaking from its wounds. Hana sat beside it, exhausted but relieved. "What happens now?" Jin-ho asked from the doorway. Hana touched the neural interface, connecting once more with the Tiger's mind. This time, the connection was stronger than ever. She could feel the Tiger's thoughts more clearly, its confusion about what it had become, its certainty that protecting the children had been right, its gratitude toward Hana. "Now," Hana said, "we prove that this Tiger is no longer a weapon. It's something new, something that could change everything about this war." 1 week later, Hana stood beside General Kim, the highest-ranking officer on the base. They watched through a reinforced glass window as Mi-rae and the other children played with the gray Tiger in a secure room. The Tiger was fully healed now. Its powerful body moved with grace as it allowed little Tae to climb onto its back. It was gentle with the children, careful not to hurt them with its metal claws or sharp teeth. "Remarkable," General Kim said, shaking his head in wonder. "If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would never have believed it." "The neural connection changed it," Hana explained. "When I repaired its heart, my empathy transferred to it. It learned to care, to protect instead of destroy." "And you believe this could be done with other tigers?" the general asked. Hana nodded. "I do. This one is already helping us identify others that might be receptive to the same treatment. We've captured 2 more in the past week." The general watched the children, playing with the Tiger for a long moment. "We've been fighting this war for 5 years," he said quietly. "We've lost millions of lives. If there's even a small chance this could end it—" "It's more than a small chance," Hana said with confidence. "This Tiger has given us hope." As if hearing her words, the gray Tiger looked up. Its orange eyes met Hana's through the glass. Through the neural interface she always wore now, Hana felt its agreement. The war would not end tomorrow. But a new path had opened, a path that no one had thought possible before. A weapon of destruction had learned to care, to protect, to save rather than kill. And it had all started with a human medic who had chosen to fix an enemy's heart.